Good morning, guys. It's Ilgascu. I would like to tell you more about my quarantine process, which has started in Cartagena, Colombia, the last week, and then ended up in a quarantine room where I'm all alone and separated from my beloved, which is in the next block, even though we came together. So what happened is that. The decision was taken when we were actually in the airplane. So Colombia wasn't one of the countries that was going to be quarantined, but it became one of them while we were flying. So this is the reason why we left Cartagena, because we had the guarantee that we weren't going to be in quarantine in Turkey, but here we are. So how did it start? We were on holidays, so no one was listening to news anyhow. And somehow, through the phone, friends told us that it's getting serious. And it was our holiday was going fine, and we crossed with coronavirus in Cartagena, Colombia, where we had landed maybe 10 days ago. So there, not even 10 days. Anyway, so there, we arrived to Cartagena. We only had one night where everything was shiny and the town was still living. And then the next day, they already started shutting down after 6 p.m. So that was still fine. We didn't know what to expect. We spent 3 days or 4 days. And on the first 2 days where they did that curfew thing after 6 p.m., we were actually in a place called Selena, where there is like many people, hostel slash like normal room. Thank God we were staying in a private room, but many people were staying in dormitories, and we were of course like kissing them, hugging them, and saying hi's on rooftops, So it was crowded, even though there was curfew. Back then, like maybe 7 days ago, no one had understood the importance of the thing yet. So there, of course, in the beginning, we didn't make that much attention to any type of cleaning or anything. And then things got serious, so we passed to a boutique hotel with a nice view, nice room. It was like there was just us staying with a nice sea view. So we are like, okay, we can enjoy this. But for how long? So we stayed there, I think 3 or 4 nights, and then like last 2 days were complete lockdown. We weren't even allowed to like go in front of the door to smoke. So we did go to mall and bath as much as we could, but again back then, maybe like 4 days ago, we weren't making that much attention to what we touch. Like in the mall, I did grab everything. Okay, in the house when we arrived, I did clean my hands, but like looking for food, I didn't like wear my gloves because there no one was wearing it. And the case number was 3 when we arrived, I think, or death number or case number. Not sure. When we were leaving, it got 8. So when we took the flight, we found out that there were 8 people in Cartagena who are dead, and I don't know how many whatever, contamination. Combien de contaminés, je savais pas. Bref. Okay, I'm Turkish, by the way. Maybe this could be in the beginning of the video. I'm Ilgas Kuren. I'm 28 years old. I'm Turkish. I was on holiday with my friend, and we were like doing the Costa Rica, Panama, and then Cartagena tour. Colombia tour. We were gonna go to Medellin. Our flight got cancelled. We were gonna go to Cali. All those plans got cancelled, but Medellin flight got cancelled. I postponed the flight to Monday. And then on Monday, yesterday, I also took, or I don't know, yesterday or whatever, I got a message that it was also cancelled. So if we had stayed there, we were gonna get stuck. To Turkish Airlines, I had to pay 10,000 lira. And my friend had to pay 18,000 lira, which makes 28,000 lira total. And like super expensive. Let's divide by 6. Dollar is still climbing, but let's divide by 6 to begin with. 28. It's been way too long since I'm off high school and math thing. You get the point. It's expensive as hell. Okay. So we didn't pay that much to go to quarantine, and we were like really expecting to have better conditions once we land. The thing is, and I'm gonna say it, we were 13 Turkish citizens in the plane. Okay, so like plane was fully booked, and then they canceled the flights of international people. So there was already a chaos going on in airport. When we arrived, like many foreign people, they're like, oh, how come you let only Turkish citizens? And apparently Turkish Airlines didn't let them know, not even like 20 hours before. So they had like connecting flights. People were having a lot of problems. And our problem is like it looks booked, so we had to pay that expensive, but we flew only 13 Turkish citizens. So we are 13, the crew was 29 people, and half of them was not in costume and sleeping in airplane. So once we land during the flight, Turkish some minister, I don't know, or whoever takes the decision, whoever dares to take a decision, generally ends up stupid decisions, but anyway. So they added Colombia, and once we landed there was nothing that we could do, and it was like totally shocking. We were expecting to go to Samaras or something. Anyway, so the problem is they also like analyze the crew, and they were like getting all dressed up before the police comes to check. So they did like some kind of, I don't know, like they closed the curtains, they didn't let us talk, so they handled the crew's problem first, and meanwhile it became our problem. Normally we weren't gonna be in quarantine probably, but my fever was high because like I didn't know they were gonna come and check from our front, whatever. So I packed my stuff, which I made an effort to carry. Of course I'm sweaty, I have like scarf around me, of course, and they arrive and they're like, oh, she has a fever. I'm like, dude, I'm packing. Of course I have a fever, you have to wait. So while they were waiting, they made a second call. Later on people said, oh, Ulgas, it's because of you that it happened. Whatever. Maybe yes, by the way. It does happen to me, stuff like that. So because of my fever, they had like a second call. Are we really taking them? No, not taking them. Ended up taking us with bus right in front of the airplane. Bus came. They were like, okay, pee, because it's gonna be a long ride. So even without smoking, before smoking, everybody flew like 12 hours-ish. They took us in the bus with some escort police cars. They took us to Bolu, which is another city in Turkey, far away from Istanbul, maybe like 3 hours, 4 hours road. And they put us in, dormitory of students in Bolu. So separated us. I was like, like they didn't even put us in the same room. Okay, it's gonna be like maybe, I have to restart telling this part, but just put me in the same room, like if I want to die together, I should have the right to die together. That is my concern. Like, oh, it's to protect you. Government can't decide how I'm willing to die normally, but that's another story. So if I want to die with him, if he wants to die with me, that's our problem, should be our problem, and they shouldn't like mess with couples, I think, or families. Oh, like what if the other one dies? What if we choose so? None of your business to me. Anyway, so right now, like another chapter, maybe 1 hour ago, we tried to see each other. So he got out of his room from the other place, and I got out of my room from here at 7. And we were like, okay, that's on floor 1. Somehow we did manage to go to that floor. I even went to like the hiding place, like below the ground, but the problem is the other side's door doesn't open. Anyway, we couldn't hug each other, so or whatever. Then I ended up running into someone at some floor at some point, some woman police. And I started crying. I'm like, I'm taking 4 meds at the same time. I have mental problems. I have to be with my fiancé, which is what I'm saying since yesterday. So yeah, I've been calling like psychiatric high top level lady and informing that I really need to be next to him. Plus, I really need my meds, which are prescripted. But normally I don't take all of them. that I listed. Anyway, it was Ilgascu. Pleasure.